What is up, guys? So, I've just come out of seeing X-Men Apocalypse. Now, people are saying it's a franchise ruiner, it's a terrible film, all kinds of things about how shit it is. Now, I did actually enjoy it for what it was. It wasn't the best film out there, it wasn't the best comic book film, but for multiple reasons. But as an X-Men fan, I did enjoy it, I had fun watching it, and the goal of any film is to be entertained. Was I entertained? Yes. Yes, I was. So, the main plot, obviously, is that Apocalypse has come back to wreak, Apocalypse, because it's in his name. So, he's a very nasty bastard, of course. The look is better than the trailer of Apocalypse. Oscar Isaacs doesn't really do that much. He just looks menacing and puts people in walls and all that kind of creepy shit going on. From First Class to Days of Future Past, right up to now. So we've got storylines that have been threaded right through. So we're introducing the New Mutants, the new team, which is known as the modern team. Really, when you think about it, you've got Summers, you've got Beast, you've got Jean Grey, which is pretty cool to see, but it doesn't really set it up that well. Poor old Sophie Turner, she's just not that clickable, I think, if that's the right word to say. She just doesn't click as Jean Grey. And people are saying that her American accent was terrible. I didn't mind it. I thought it was okay, it was possible, but it kind of drops off halfway through. So you're watching the film, and then she's speaking like Sansa Stark right at the end, which is really weird. It's very, very weird. But I won't say what happens at the end, obviously, because this is a spoiler-free review. But yeah, that is one of my biggest gripes with the film. There's not much motivation or real character development for the characters at all. So we get introduced to people like Nightcrawler. He meets Scott, and they go to the mall. But this doesn't happen at all, because they say they're going, and then it cuts to them coming back. We don't see that kind of the kids doing what they want in the 80s. You don't see any of that at all. We know that it was actually in the film. We know that it was kind of going to be in it. We've seen pictures of them at the mall and etc. We have a funny joke where they come out of the cinema seeing Return of the Jedi, saying that third one's always the worst. So, yeah, dig at X-Men 3 Last Stand. But anyway, it was... The problem with the film is that it very much builds up this very big apocalyptic scene at the end, and all you really get is not that much. You get a kind of... It did seem like a very mid-film battle, so they go in, the X-Men, fight the enemy, and then realise, oh crap, we need to improve, and then go in. But the whole film is building this up, going from... You remember what happened in Days of Future Past? Do you remember what happened in First Class? Yeah? So this is where they are now, and then there's this guy who's causing a lot of trouble. So it doesn't set this tone, you don't really see Apocalypse as a big threat. I mean, you see him destroy everything, but you don't really feel empathy for that destruction, because all you see is the destruction. You don't see people running in the streets scared or like that you did with Avengers and Batman vs Superman or Man of Steel. That'd be a great example, because one-time destruction, but you see people scared and running, but you just see buildings collapse. It's just literally like in The Simpsons when they say that the show where the buildings collapse. That's literally it. That's all it is. It is a kind of... It's enjoyable. That's all I'm going to say with it. It is enjoyable. But not a lot happens in it. It's the Seinfeld of superhero films where not much happens. We see a lot of the action in the mind, and a lot of scenes were very hammy. They're very hammed up, where you just hear people going, oh no, oh no, oh no. And you're just like, this is shit. This just looks stupid. I was sitting there, probably like the first half hour, and I was just like, what's going on? This is just, I couldn't stop laughing at the scenes like that. But where it gets it right, it gets it very right when you go to the... Well, I'm not going to give you a spoiler, but there is a cameo from a guy. And it does work. It works so well. But if I was to pinpoint it, it just feels rushed. And you don't have a sense of threat. You don't have a sense of urgency. And you don't really care about the New Mutants at all. You don't really care about Scott Summers. You don't care about Jean Grey. I mean, Nightcrawler steals the show in it. And then you've got Quicksilver coming in again to provide more comic relief. But you've got comic relief. It seems like they've focused more on that. But like I said, it is enjoyable. It's not the best comic book film at all. I preferred Batman vs Superman because you had a looming threat. And it did seem more credible. But anyway, so you move on and then really just, that's it. The setup is just far too long. I mean, the setup for this review is far too long. But that's my opinions on the film. It's just pretty much a first reaction to it. So I hope you enjoyed that. Drop a like and a subscribe. There's so much X-Men content coming out now. So subscribe, I'll be back soon. Goodbye.